And I want to welcome everyone to this evening's call. It is Wednesday, July 8th. This is the Enriching Gifts Education call. And tonight we have a treat for those of you that have not been exposed to Ron and his information. And it's actually a treat for all of us because Ron is going to share with us a lot of stuff that we just, quite frankly, don't talk about on Wednesday night calls, which is kind of his background, his mindset, what drives him. How did he create this, and what did he come across and uncover when he founded Enriching Gifts? So there's a lot of goodies there, and I think it's a very valuable piece to know in doing your due diligence, especially when you're looking at an individual who may have something that can benefit humanity. And we know, those of us that know, are in the know that we are very blessed by Ron's Enriching Gifts product line. So why don't we get it queued up? I do want to say that this is a previous recording that Ron and I had done. I think it was about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And we're going to make it available in bite-sized pieces, but we wanted to share it with everybody. Ron has got a prior commitment, so he won't be here this evening live. He'll be back next week. But as you can see on the screen, we are queuing up this call. So sit back, relax, and enjoy, in my opinion, some pretty powerful stuff from Ron, Mr. Ron Schneider. So welcome to the call. Roderick, I'm going to turn it over to you and appreciate you working behind the scenes to make this call happen here. Thank you.
Thank you, Dover. And please forgive this rough cut, and it's in the middle of the edit. So here we go.
2, 1. All right, fantastic. So we have with us here Mr. Ronald K. Schneider, President and founder of Enriching Gifts International. Just a long time dedicated, passionate individual as it relates to helping people achieve maximum or optimal health. And so, Ron, I want to welcome you this evening and just say hello and how are you?
Well, having a hard day of work and ready to get to this. And as you know, that's my passion, helping people achieve great results with their health. So, yep, I'm ready.
Absolutely. So I guess the first question I would have, and maybe the individual watching and listening to this would have is tell us a little bit about who Ron Schneider is, and more importantly, maybe you tell us who Ron Schneider is not. So that would be the first question. 2 questions, I guess.
Well, let me kind of answer that in reverse. Who Ron Schneider is not is I'm not any kind of a licensed medical professional or medical doctor. I have no official PhD licensing whatsoever, but that's more by choice, and I don't want to ever have that because then I fall under regulation, jurisdiction, and guidelines of the FDA, AMA, which most of that I'm against anyway. So that's who I'm not. But with that being said, who I am is a very educated person, both on the human body and medically. Now, I hold no medical license, but I did study for 10 years at Arizona State University Medical Campus, which is a public library after 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I went into that library and I studied for at least 6 to 8 hours a day, 6 days a week for 10 solid years. So I got a free education. I didn't need a professor. I'm very intelligent just in general. I have a very high IQ, so I was able to decipher and learn and get educated on my own. But again, I just want to reiterate, I am not a licensed medical doctor. I'm a research scientist. I'm an immunoenzymologist. And what that is, it's a scientist that actually studies the enzymes that run and regulate the human immune system cell functioning activity of the human body. That's what my specialty is. I've been doing it for over 30 years. And so that's kind of where I'd like to start from. And I'm very passionate about helping people. So often people go to doctors and they just get sloughed off, or they get pushed on a drug. And a drug, always remember, there's not one single drug on the market that doesn't inhibit the natural cellular functioning process of the human body. All drugs are enzyme inhibitors. Some of them are even immunosuppressive. They suppress the enzymes that carry out immune system cell functioning processes. So how are you going to strengthen your body and recover from whatever when your body's being suppressed and inhibited from functioning? That's what my passion is getting this education out to people. There are other choices, there are better choices, and there definitely are alternative choices. And that's my passion in life, to share this with as many millions and millions and millions of people around the world. I've been in every single country in the entire world with a government but 6. And when I go there, I work with the heads of the Ministry of Health, the presidential leaders, the head of the healthcare system and medical system of countries. So that's kind of my background experience and definitely what my passion is.
Awesome. So Ron, tell us a little bit about, what got you going? What inspired you to go down this path that's taken you on this journey?
Well, that's kind of a painful story rather than an inspiration. I mean, I have tremendous heart disease genetics in my family history. And I watched my mom die at the hands of negligence by a medical doctor. I watched my dad die at the hands of a medical doctor with severe negligence. Neither one of them should have ever died from the causes they died from. It's because of the medical system. And so that's why I got so passionate. And I says, I am not going to see another person that I love and care about that's close to me die needlessly. And that's where my passion comes from. That's where kind of my disgruntlement from the medical community comes from. I've seen the effects of drugs. I've seen the effects of malpractice. I've seen the effects of negligence on behalf of doctors that are so busy they just don't care or take the time. And they are above everybody and even above common sense and extreme knowledgeable education for myself. I remember the doctor that caused my father to die, I told him, I was living in Arizona at the time, I called and told him I wanted an abdominal MRI done. And he said, well, who are you? You don't have a degree. I don't have to listen to you, blah, blah, blah. I hopped the plane and came back to the town I lived in, which was Miles City, came into the hospital, and I literally got a hold of that doctor. And it wasn't a pretty situation. But the bottom line was they ordered an MRI that very next day. And on his way up to radiology to get the MRI, his abdominal aneurysms burst. He had 2. And he was dead literally within 3 days. And all that doctor had to do was listen to me. But there's the egos. There's the crap that I had to put up with personally in my own life. And I swore I just never, ever let that happen to anybody that I knew. And so I'm not so much against the medical community. They're just kind of like the cops that are going on right now. 99% of all policemen are great and good, and they do benefit for society. I agree with the same thing with doctors. Doctors try, but a lot of times the way they go about things just doesn't make sense to me. And I have great common sense. I pride myself on common sense. And it just doesn't make sense for what a lot of the medical system approach disease, illness, and disorders with. And I for myself personally know that there's much more effective ways because, again, I've been doing this for 30 years. I've been all over the world with my work. And I deal at the very tops of medicine and health and governments as far as you can reach. So that's where my passion comes from. And again, I don't want to get too negative. I'd much rather keep this on a positive and let everybody know there are definitely solutions other than drugs or even your medical doctor. But you have to have the education. You have to have the understanding. You have to have the human body. You have to have the background and a history of somebody that has some success with all these issues and diseases. And I'm definitely that kind of a person. I have all of that.
Absolutely, you do. So here we are, Ron. It's 2020, year 2020. Tell the listener, how did how did Enriching Gifts get started? Like, I hear your passion, I hear the inspiration, but how did you go down the path of Enriching Gifts, and why even that name? What does Enriching Gifts mean when you say Enriching Gifts, or when you came up with that for your brand?
Right. Well, First of all, I'm a very spiritual person. People have to kind of get that as a background where I always come from each day of my life. And I was always an athlete. You know, people talk about marathons as a 25-mile race. I used to run 15 miles in the morning, 10 miles at night, 25 miles a day, 6 days a week for well over 5 years of my life. I was 6'3.5", and I only weighed about 142 pounds because I ran everything I ate off. So I come from a little bit of an athletic. Then I got into bodybuilding when I moved to Arizona. Then I got into powerlifting about 3-4 years after I was into the bodybuilding thing. And my best friend, one of my best friends, Tom Mano, he was a Guinness Book, he still is, by the way, Guinness Book World Record powerlifter. And he holds many, at least 2 of them, the most weight ever lifted by a human being over the age of 40. And they broke his record at 43 when he was 51 years old. And so he was not only inspiration to me, but we created a really, really good friendship and a bond because I helped him achieve something he never even thought possible, not even close to what he was able to do. And it's through my nutrition, my expertise and understanding in the human body that helped him reach that level, and not only reach it, but sustain it and by far surpass his wildest expectations and dreams. You know, him and his wife, Diane, used to talk, we used to talk all the time about, gee, he just wanted to do a 501-pound bench. That was his goal. And within 1 year of me starting to work with him, he hit that. He surpassed that in less than 8 months. And, you know, when you start lifting weights into 700 and 800 pounds and near 900 pounds, that's an incredible feat no matter who you are. On a global basis, you can count maybe 5 people in the world that can come anywhere close to that. And so that's what I was able to help him achieve. And Enriching Gifts also, because I used to be a private label manufacturer as a freelance formulator. And I private labeled to over 283 companies, meaning I formulated the products, manufactured it, and then we just wrapped that company's label around it. Call it white labeling, private labeling, call it what you will, but that's what I used to do. And I private labeled the largest network marketing companies in the world, made their whole product line in some instances, like Noavir. I made the top 7 network marketing companies in America for the last 50 years. I made their very first digestive enzyme product and formulated it for them. And after about probably 10, 12 years formulating for all of these different companies that were just motivated by profits and money, they really didn't care about the results. They just wanted the new Wow family thing, the new Sizzle product. You know, sounds good. Hey, it's good enough to get everybody in to try it. And, you know, the sad thing is I knew I was capable of way, way better results, a much higher level of product quality and performance. And so after about 13 years of doing all of that, I just decided to stop private labeling and bring out my own private label. And at that time, I had just moved to Honolulu, Hawaii. I had 2 counts over there that I was private labeling to. And I was all over Africa, Tokyo, Japan, Asia, the Middle East, all over Europe. And so Honolulu or Hawaii was a nice jump off compared to Montana. Because when you left from Montana, you left on a Saturday morning, you didn't even get to South Africa or over to Nigeria or anywhere in Africa until sometime Monday afternoon. And, you know, 2.5 days, it just wipes you out. It takes you 3-4 days to even begin to recover. And by then, you're almost ready to get done with what you went over there for and come back home. So I bought a home in Hawaii, and I started over there, and then I started again. Remember, I told you I used to run 25 miles a day, split in 2 shifts, in the morning and in the evening. And there's this beautiful pass called the Poly Pass in Honolulu, Hawaii. And I started running the Poly Pass from the H1 or the Poly Highway all the way over to the Kaneohe. And so one day as I'm sitting up there and I'm just really thinking about my life, reflecting on what I'm doing, you know, and all this money, and it just, finally I just gave it all up. I sat there in that mountain by the falls and I prayed. I prayed all afternoon. You know, what do you really want me to do, Lord? That's basically my question. I kept asking, and pretty soon the sun just beamed. I mean, it just came out of a cloudy sky. The whole forest just lit up. and the falls just sparkled like there was diamonds in them or snowflakes or something. And I used to always tell people I could never really appreciate Hawaii for what it was, not like a native person. People used to come up to my estate and they would cry, "Man, Ronald, wow, it's so beautiful. I live here my whole life. I never see such beautiful surroundings. Never see such beautiful piece of the island or the beach." And I had a home over in Lanikai Beach. And then I had another one in Hawaii, Hawaii Kai over Mount Harris. But anyway, so I'm sitting up there in the mountains and I just really wanted to reflect on my life. What was I really doing? This gift of intelligence, just it can't go to waste, especially the passion and the understanding of the human body that I have. And I had tremendous success with formulating up to that point. And it just kind of came to me. You know, the Lord spoke to my heart and he says, you have the ability to enrich people's lives with your gifts. There's where enriching gifts were born in that moment. I can enrich people's lives with my gifts. Gifts of knowledge, gifts of compassion, gifts of education, gifts of understanding. Each one of us are gifts to each other. Whether we know that, realize that or not, we really are. And through those gifts that we exchange to each other, we all learn and grow. Some are good experiences, some are not so good, but that's the gift that we give to each other. So I'm always mindful of that, and that's how the name Enriching Gifts came to be. And this company stands for quality. It stands for honesty, openness, integrity. Everything that I look out in the marketing world and all these supplements and networking programs are not. And I will promise myself then and there I was going to be a different kind of company. And there is no way I'm going to cut my abilities in my formulating knowledge and expertise. No more. I'm going to provide the best of science, the best that money can produce, the best of the best that what exists on this planet. And that's how Enriching Gifts was born, and that's where that inspiration came from. You know, like I said, I can draw back on my mom's death, my dad's death, Mano's death, my older brother's death, my cousin's death, all my aunts and uncles that I never ever got to know because they were all dead at age 38 and 45, and I was in my young teens and sometimes not even in my teens. I never had grandparents. I never had grandparents. I don't even know what that concept is. And I'm a grandparent to my grandson Corbin to this day. So, you know, that's where Enriching Gifts comes from. And sharing the blessings of nature. There's so many blessings that are natural, not drugged. And a lot of times you can get just as good a benefit with a natural herb and supplement, if it's properly processed and formulated, as you'll ever get with a medical drug. And always remember, nutrition activates the body. It gives the body the ability to function. And drugs, there's not a drug on the market that doesn't inhibit or alter the natural functioning processes of the human body.
That's beautiful. And so this picture and behind me, Ron, this backdrop that I have of on the Enriching Gifts, the label, is that a picture that where you had that where God gave you this vision and Enriching Gifts was born? Explain that if you don't mind.
It is. This picture was taken from my balcony in Lanikai Beach. That's one of the two Mokopu Islands right out front of Lanikai Beach. And that was actually a sunrise. New beginnings for myself, for my life, for my work, and for my passion and my gifts. And that's what that island represents. And that's why it made its way onto my label.
That's beautiful. Okay, well, I would say that this has been very fruitful, and thank you for sharing and being so transparent with all of us. What could you share with us, Ron? You know, with your inspiration, with your passion, all that you've done. And by the way, I don't know that I heard it. When did you actually start Enriching Gifts?
November the 4th of 1989 is when I decided to bring out my own company and give away, just stop doing all private labeling. I only work for one company, and that's the one that I own, Enriching Gifts. I don't private label my products out to anybody anymore.
Got it. Awesome. Well, with that being said, and this is kind of a prelude into a call that you'll be doing shortly, which is how do you stay on top? And I don't want to get too much into it, but on this as we close out here, but just if you could put a bow on it by letting us know how you're staying fresh, how you're staying current with new technologies in the nutrition, since you've been around the block and formulated for over 200 companies. How are you staying current and up to date with where the supplement or the nutrition market's going currently, 2020?
Well, I'll be honest with you. You look at everything that's out in the nutrition market. It's just been rebranded, relabeled, renamed. There really hasn't been any big breakthrough discoveries of anything. It sounds like it's new, and it's got a new name, a new version, a new twist, and a new presentation. But it's the same old stuff, and most of it is just food extracts, plant extracts. There really, truly are a couple of breakthroughs. Like I go back, and this goes back 30 years already. But I guarantee you, most people have never heard the term glucoside. They wouldn't know what that nutrient does or anything. And so it's not about keeping up with the brand new, because everything that is new really isn't new. It's just rebranded and brought out in a new way. And my big thing, my huge big number one thing is enzymes. That's why all this new stuff doesn't work on a consistent basis. It's way overhyped. It's not going to work on a long term. And most of the time, it's very hit and miss on the short term in the variable people that try new supplements and new ingredients and things like that. It's like cinnamon. How long has cinnamon been around? Oh, but now we can use it for diabetes. And it takes a very specific amount, a specific type of cinnamon, a specific quality of cinnamon, or even in order to benefit glucose levels and lowering glucose with a diabetic person. So, and again, Kevin Trudeau, that goes back at least 20 years that I know of, when he was on national TV and infomercials. So it's not about trying the new, it's about really getting educated about what works. And you know me and my passion about enzymes, there's a reason why no matter all this new stuff that comes out, we still have the highest incidence of disease and illness per capita worldwide in recorded medical history. So if all this new stuff was so great and pleasant, and all this weight loss and all of this muscle gain and all this other stuff was so great, then why is it we still have the highest incidence of disease and illness, especially in America, of any other country in the world? We by far spend more money on supplements and food and things like that than any other country in the world. When people say America is the richest country in the world, there's a huge meaning of truth behind that. So if that's the fact, why do we still have the highest incidence of disease and illness of any other country, even Ethiopia, per capita in the entire world? Doesn't sound like things are in reality are working very well. And it's not because there's such bad supplements or such bad companies or such bad formulators. Most of them are bad, but there are some good ones. But even the good ones, why doesn't it work? I'll tell you why. Because all those supplements, all that organic diet, all that food, all that exercise, all that health stuff, nobody is addressing the issue of lack of the ability to digest that stuff when it's consumed. The human body loses on average 8 to 10% of its digestive enzyme production capability. Every 10 years, a person lives their life from birth to death. So the average is, by the time the average person in America reaches the age of 38 to 42, his body produces less than 50% of the digestive enzymes to digest and extract nutrients from the meal you eat every day as it did at age 15. And that even means organic foods. That even means health supplements. That even means pure, raw, high quality, non-GMO. It all has to be digested. And the only thing that digests your meals or any nutrient is digestive enzymes. And hydrochloric acid, contrary to many people's belief, does not break down food. It's an acid activator that activates the protease enzymes to digest your proteins. Enzymes digest your food, nothing else. And you lose them at a rate of 38 to 42, your body produces 50% or greater less enzymes than you did at age 15. So no matter what you're taking, it's not going to benefit you in the long term. You might get a year, you might get 6 months, you might only get 2 weeks where you notice the difference. But sooner or later, you're going to go right back to where you were. And like those people that have cancer, don't believe me, don't take my word for it, go to the National Cancer Society. Your chance of getting cancer is over 90% once you've had it the first time, if you're lucky enough to survive it. Your chance of a heart attack actually increases the first time you have a heart attack. You're more susceptible to having another one within the lifetime that you live before you die. It goes up 2, 3, 4, 500%. And look at Bob Harper. You know, he's Dr. Phil's head of his fitness board. Dr. Phil McGraw from Dr. Phil Show. And at 42 years old, he had a massive heart attack with no genetics of heart disease whatsoever. He ate right, he ate vegan, he exercised, he did all of this stuff perfectly, just like my cousin Milo did. He had his first open heart surgery at 43 years old. He was my mom's sister's oldest son, my first cousin. And he eventually died at the age of 70. That's the problem with my genetics personally. Nobody in my family history has ever lived beyond the age of 65. And my brother hit 69, Milo hit 69. So the younger generation, through some of the science and technology, they've been actually able to enhance longevity by about 3 or 4 years. But one thing I know as a scientist, there's no way that you can change genetics. Once you're born, you're set. Now you just live to the best possible life extension that you're programmed to have. And one of the things with my work is I'm out to prove that you don't have to become a victim of bad genetics. Telomeres, telomerase enzyme, I was a pioneer right with all of that. And that just kind of came and went and disappeared. It literally gives you the human body, the ability to live to be 300, 400, 500 years old. And people aren't talking about that anymore. But I was right in the mix of all of that. Worked with the discoverers of telomerase enzyme, worked with the people that had the only effective product, things like that. So, but anyway, that's where I come from. That's what this company's all about. And there's some huge flaws in the entire nutrition industry. And the deficiency of digestive enzyme in a person's individual daily life is the single biggest factor. And that's what I want everybody to know on these recorded calls. You can take all the supplements, spend all the money you want. It's not going to change anything until you start dealing with the deficiency of your body's ability to digest and extract nutrients from your daily meals. That's what's truly going to change a person's life and the course of a disease and illness in your life.
So, Ron, that brings a question that I have, and thank you for sharing that because that's amazing. But you talk about, no matter what supplement you're taking, and so I posed the question to you then, okay, so that all sounds great, but what if I'm taking some of the Enriching Gift products? What separates my ability to maybe utilize the Enriching Gift product line versus maybe going down to the supplement store and picking up something off the shelf and saying, am I just throwing my money away or not? And if I am, why am I doing that versus taking the Enriching Gift product? Hopefully I didn't butcher that question and you got what I was trying to get out there.
I got it perfectly, and I got a great answer. Remember I told you I had extraordinary good common sense? So I, as a formulator, put the digestive enzymes and the minerals that activate those digestive enzymes right in with the nutrition supplement ingredients right in the capsule. So I can literally digest this stuff out on the kitchen table. I don't even need it inside your body. And it will fully break down right in the kitchen table, right in a glass of oatmeal, right in all of that stuff. That's what separates me as not only a formulator from everybody else in the world, but also as a company. Every single product we have has the ability to digest the contents of the capsule all on its own. All the things needed for digestion and cellular delivery are right inside the capsule.
No, that is amazing. That is truly a gift. So thank you. Yes. So I don't know that there's anything else that needs to be said about that, because at the end of the day, Well, yes. Tell us what, in fact, does make a good diet good and a bad diet bad, because there's been athletes, and regardless how you feel about a Lance Armstrong right now, but you take a Lance Armstrong for an example, or a Sheryl Crow, or some of these other celebrities that either eat vegan or they eat, very pure and clean and vegetarian, yet they still wind up with these debilitating diseases. What does make a good diet good and a bad diet bad? You've touched on it, but just let me hear it.
You brought up Lance Armstrong. Let's talk about Lance. He's a Tour de France athlete. He was caught cheating. Okay, that's okay. I can appreciate that as an athlete. Do whatever it takes to get the edge over everybody else, and your number one goal is winning. But my number one goal is taking care of the body first. And if you take care of the body will take care of you. I can't stress that enough. You take care of your body, 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 so it can body, so it can body, so it can body.
Bear with me, folks. Looks like we've got a monkey wrench in here in our recording.
I think it's great. You got to take care of the body. Absolutely right. So while Roderick's teeing it back up there, I just want to let everybody know, this is, Ron not being here tonight, but as I was doing the interview with Ron, and as I watch it again, and I've watched it several times, I learned so much more, but two, I really see how passionate that he is, because he is, he's a wealth of knowledge, for one, but common sense. And when I got him saying, I pride myself on common sense, I think back to conversations I've had with him over the years, many years, and he's all about common sense. And that's really how he approaches things. And so didn't take me long to realize, it doesn't make sense if someone's or I would be eating some food and I'm not able to utilize the nutrients, then that's not very good. That becomes toxic. And when I got that, very elementary, point, in my opinion, then it all clicked and it all made sense. And so I went out to Montana in 2000, I think it was 4 or 5, and learned how to use a microscope. So I'm going to have him on here one day talking about that experience as well, with the microscope and the blood and how to analyze blood, what they call blood microscopy. So looks like Roderick may have it queued back up.
Yeah, so we'll start again.
And Roderick, I know there was only what's that?
Just muting out.
I know there. Gotcha. So are we okay with to move forward with this, or do we need to kind of wrap this one up?
We're okay to
Either
move
way
forward.
is fine. Okay, perfect.
We'll start with the Lance Armstrong question.
Okay. All right, so we're just about done here. I will turn it back over to you. Thank you. Yes. So I don't know that there's anything else that needs to be said about that, because at the end of the day, well, yes, tell us what, in fact, does make a good diet good and a bad diet bad, because there's been athletes, and regardless how you feel about a Lance Armstrong right now, but you take a Lance Armstrong for an example, or a Sheryl Crow, or some of these other celebrities that either eat vegan or they eat, very pure and clean and vegetarian, yet they still wind up with these debilitating diseases. what does make a good diet good and a bad diet bad? You've touched on it, but just let me hear it.
You brought up Lance Armstrong. Let's talk about Lance. He's a Tour de France athlete. He was caught cheating. Okay, that's okay. I can appreciate that as an athlete. Do whatever it takes to get the edge over everybody else, and your number one goal is winning. But my number one goal is taking care of the body first. And if you take care of the body will take care of you. I can't stress that enough. You take care of your body so it can take care of you. And you look at Sheryl Crow. She was a strict vegetarian. Olivia Newton-John, strict vegetarian. Look at Patrick Swayze. He was a smoker, but he was never, ever fat or anything like that. And I can give you celebrities' names and famous people by the tens of thousands that most of them have died or they're actually suffering with a disease, a reoccurring disease, like Olivia Newton-John has her breast cancer back, not once, not twice, but a third time now. Sheryl Crow, I don't know about. You don't hear much about her anymore. Patrick Swayze died of pancreatic cancer. I know I could have probably helped him. And then Charlie Sheen with his HIV/AIDS scare, I got a call from his publishing agent or his manager, publisher, management guy, whatever it was, asking for some advice for me because of my background with the HIV/AIDS world in Africa and all the things I did over in South Africa with Nelson Mandela and Nigeria and South Africa, Uganda, Botswana, just about everything on the continent of Africa, all 40-some countries. But the bottom line is, you talk about all of these people, well, they're not doing the things that they need to do. And again, a diet is only as good as its ability to be digested and reach the cellular level of the human body. So you can have, what makes a good diet good is one, it's not about the food choice, the food choice. I can't stress this enough. You can eat the most expensive, the cleanest, most organic diet you want and still have a disease or illness, a serious disease, cancer, heart disease, diabetes, arthritis, so on and so forth. It's not about the food choice. It's about the ability to digest, fully digest and break down whatever it is you consume. Because when any food source or a food that you would consume, McDonald's, I hate to sound like I'm so negative on the fast food industry, but there is some downside to it. Too much sugar, too much preservative, too much salt, so on and so forth. But the bottom line is any food source that you can completely digest because you have enough enzymes in the digestive process, that food source will feed the cellular body. And it doesn't have to be organic. It doesn't have to be clean. I am a huge fan of non-GMO. I don't encourage anybody to take any of that kind of stuff. But even a good diet, even an organic diet, a very clean, expensive diet can kill you. It will literally create a toxic body just as easy as McDonald's or any other garbage food. And that's the fact. That's why we still live with so much disease and illness in this country. Because it's not about your food choice. It's about understanding if you don't have the enzymes, it doesn't matter the nutritional source. You're not going to be able to get it to the cellular body as a form of nutrition, which activates the enzymes to carry out proper and efficient cellular functioning in any part of the human body or organ. That's just the facts. So before you go reaching for all these expensive diets, all these expensive foods, all these expensive supplements, you better be reaching for the best doggone enzyme anywhere in the world that can be formulated and produced. And that's what Enriching Gifts has. I have sat there and sent out many letters to many companies and CEOs from around the world. They want to say they have the highest, they have the best, they have the most efficient and complete enzyme formula in the world. No, they don't. And my attorney, just this last year, we sent out 4 letters to different countries around the world claiming they had the highest activity. They had the overall best producing formula. No, they don't. Enriching Gifts has that right and that claim. And I will protect that till the day I die. Nobody has a digestive enzyme that even begins to compare with Enriching Gifts. We have the highest activity by over 40%. Most companies, like the one in Australia I sent a letter to, the one in Canada I sent a letter to, they were talking about 50 and 100,000 HETs of protease activity in their overall formula. I have 132,000. And that's not even near the highest one that I can produce. That's just so high activity that people get a lot of side effects. It's too aggressive for all the toxicity that exists in the human body in so many people. But that's what we have in our full dose is 132,000 ATTs of protease activity per capsule, not per 3 or 5, per capsule. Nobody even comes close to that number, not even half. Read the label, and it says per serving 2 capsules, and whatever that number says, you have to divide that by 2. Now compare that to our 1, and it's on our website. So, yeah, just want to
Absolutely.
make it really clear with it, yeah.
Sure. And Ron's referring to enriching-gifts.com. That's enriching-gifts.com, GIFTS, enriching-gifts.com. And yes, that information is on the website. And Ron, what, and we will, there is a call that will be specific for the plant enzymes. But does one need to go out and buy multiple different types of enzymes, or is there an enzyme, does the Enriching Gift enzyme blend or formula bring together multiple different types of enzymes?
Well, like I said, your body has a whole bunch of different enzymes in the digestive process. So it doesn't make any sense to go out and buy a protease formula and a lipase formula and a gluten formula. And no, it has to be all formulated together because you need it all to digest your foods you're consuming. Your body's not going to pick and choose. Your body already has all these enzymes that are right there in the digestive process. So we have 9 different enzymes, and we have about 60, 70, 77 different minerals to activate these enzymes. So everything that you would consume already has the enzymes in our formulation to digest that. You know, that brings up a really good point. Most people that suffer from food allergies and migraine headaches, you know that 90% plus is nothing more than a deficiency of an enzyme in the digestive process. They're actually getting food allergens into their, food allergens getting into their body that they're reacting to. And that reaction is inflammation, headaches, swelling, severe fatigue and tiredness, stiffness in their joints and muscles. Those are all typical aspects of toxicity and allergic reactions. And the only reason anybody has an allergy to a food is because genetically your body lacks the enzyme that actually digests that particular protein or fat or substance in that food source. That's why your body has an allergic reaction to it. Like, for example, lactose intolerance. Your body lacks the enzyme called lactase. Lactase breaks down dairy proteins and solids, mainly the sugars in dairy products. And then you go down and you look at celiac sprue or gluten intolerance. That's a disease caused by an invertase deficiency. That's the enzyme that most people lack that makes them intolerant to gluten, to wheats and stuff like that. So we've already thought about all of this. It's already formulated into our products. Whether you have lactose intolerant or not, we have very high lactase. Whether you have a very, very slow metabolism of fat or high cholesterol potential because of heart disease, we already have all the lipase and a lot of different proteases in there. If you have gluten intolerance, we have lots of invertase in there. So whether you have gluten intolerance or not, the actual enzyme is already in the product. So we don't have to worry about marketing very selectively to each individual person that has all these different deficiencies of enzymes. One formula will take and digest anything that a human body would consume. So we only have one form of plant enzymes.
That is beautiful. Well, thank you. And so, Ron, I just want to say thank you from the thousands and millions that we believe will be watching this video. And I just want to say thank you for all that you do for enriching our lives and giving us what you were given, which was your gifts. So we appreciate you. We'd ask everyone if they want more information to, like I said, go to the enriching-gifts.com website, and you'll be able to read more about Ron, more about his products, and you'll have all of the information there. So with that, Ron, I just want to say thanks again, and we appreciate you so much. Have a wonderful night.
Okay, so again, that was a pre-recorded interview back on June 14th. And man, I really apologize for the quality of that. It came to us from Zoom with some sound sync problems. You may have seen that, but we'll be working on that the next time you see it. And for those who have joined, for those of you that have joined us, I wanted to make one announcement real quick about the website. We are aware that it's just dreadfully slow, and we've discovered that the hosting company has placed our site, our website, on a shared server, and we further discovered that shared server had thousands of other websites running at the same time. So at this point, that needs to be fixed. So that's what we're going to be working on. And so if Dover's not here, I just want to just say thank you for attending. And that's all we have for you today. And we will look forward to seeing each and every one of you next week. Have a blessed evening.